All right, everyone, it is Dokkan time again, and today we'll be going over the how-to build for the newly EZA'd 7th Anniversary Part 2 LRs, Goku and Giant Ape Vegeta. I already did the Goku video, or you're watching this first or last, I'm not sure, but make sure you go check out the Goku EZA how to build as well. Giant Ape Vegeta is actually really good. I like him a lot. I think they finally made Giant Ape Vegeta useful. He's always had potential as a unit. The primary issue has always been, though, is that he just doesn't have good links. And unfortunately, the EZA didn't change his links because they can't do that. But they did make him good enough to run pretty much without them. So we're going to go ahead and get into it, go down to the breakdown, go through the defense, go through the build, go through the roll tips, and do let me know what you think. So let's just kind of get into it. So as far as 200% options go, unfortunately, there's not a lot. I wish there was more to go through here. Unfortunately, not even Broly is a good option. Unfortunately, Vegeta is not an uncontrollable power unit, and it kind of throws off the mojo of the Broly team. You can put him on the Broly team, by all means. Use him as a slot 1 unit. But unfortunately, as long as you have that dude on there and keep him on the rotation, it will mean that you might hit a time where you cannot activate Broly's domain. And unfortunately, it will not activate, and therefore it could cost... it could make some issues. I think it could make some issues. Though he can go on the 200%. Another good option, I feel, would be Glorio. Double Glorio, I feel, would be fine. Demonic Power, Accelerated Battle, not Battle of Fate. There is a lot of units you can technically throw onto Glorio's team. Mind you, they be 170s, which isn't too bad, because if you rock Double Glorio, you got 50% off rotational support as long as you're floating both Glorios, and it kind of feels almost like a 220 team, in all honesty, except for the HP part. And then Lord Slug is actually a decent place. You actually get a couple good linking partners in there, and by that I mean just Vegeta, Nappa, LR. And that would pretty much be it. You could try to throw them onto some other teams like Goku or something, or even the Super Saiyan transforming Vegeta. But unfortunately, I feel like a lot of these other leaders are just lacking excessively. Therefore, I do believe that his only best team to be utilizing him on is 100% the AGL Vegeta Goku exchange unit that transforms into Gogeta, the new 10th anniversary LR. That being said, you can run him on other 170 teams, but we'll get into more of that later in the roll tips. So moving down forward, after EZing, he is now a Inhuman D's Giant Ape Power category leader, key plus 4 HP attack and defense of 170. He greatly raises attack and then raises defense for 1 turn, so that's a 50% raise and then a 30% raise. No, he does not stack. He, on his 18 key super, does greatly raise a defense for 1 turn, and he is an AoE unit. As some people may not know, he's an AoE unit, and he is primarily dominant in World Tournament. That is primarily what most people have been using him for up until now, and they still probably will. His passive skill is as follows, where he will activate his entrance animation if he is fighting a Goku. I do think it is very likely that you could fight a Goku. I don't see any reason not to. I think there's several Gokus in the game that could lead into you using, getting his intro to go off. Key plus 3 attack 100% for that, and that is a permanent buff. Basic effects, key plus 3 attack and defense 200. He has a damage reduction rate of 20%. He receives an additional key plus 1 per key sphere obtained, and he always is guarding. When attacking with 12 or more key, attack and defense 160. When attacking with 18 or more key, defense 160. And then after guard is activated, key plus 3, attack and defense 60% for 3 turns. So the one thing I'd like to notice here is that with the guard activating and proccing this, what this means is that you have to reactivate this every 3 turns have elapsed. So turn 1, he gets hit 1 time. He has to get hit for that guard to activate. So once guard is activated and he gets that, what will happen is he'll keep that for 3 turns. Now it starts on that 1 turn. So you're on turn 1, turn 2, and then turn 3. Turn 3 is when you will see him again. Turn 3 is his second appearance. So that means the next time you see him after that, which would be turn 5, he will need to be hit again at that point to reactivate this. At that point, it is a little bit more dangerous for him to get hit, but I think he should still be safe. Just keep in mind of when that procs. Now, for the rest of his passive, as the first attack on return, defense plus 60%, and damage reduction rate of 40%, and then as the second or third attack on return, attack plus 60%, and launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance to become a super attack. And when attacking with 24 ki, he does have attacks effective against all types. Now, we are in the meta of form now where we need crit again. Attacks effective against all types is exactly how it sounds. It is literally type advantage, except a little bit extra multiplier. And by little, I mean 0.2. So it's not a huge difference, but attacks effective against all types is very good. It is very good. To prove an argument with this, if you go into World Tournament with Intelligence Jr., Piccolo Jr., when you use his active skill, he does have attacks effective against all types. But he's not killing the entire enemy force. You have to crit to kill the entire enemy in World Tournament. So just keep in mind, this applies much more so in normal gameplay where attacks effective against all types is not the same as crit. Though I will say you're not bringing this Vegeta along as a damage dealer, necessarily. But he is 100% more so a tank. So this is largely irrelevant for this guy. And he does have an active skill, which does allow him to turn into a giant ape. Before we get into his giant ape, Saiyan Warrior Race, Royal Lineage, over 9,000, Transformation, or Transform, Saiyan Roar, Shattering Limit, and Legendary Power are his links. You're never going to see almost any of these going off. You'll see Saiyan Warrior Race, you'll see Shattering Limit, Legendary Power, Royal Lineage, Saiyan Roar, but only activating maybe one or two at a time. There is no perfect link partner for this guy in the game as of current recording time. Other than himself, which is the Nappa and Vegeta LR. This is not a good unit to be rocking in current content level. He does not have a current suitable partner even to like 3 links at a time. Like he just doesn't. There's just no good link partners for him. He is only as good as he can be. So does he have room to grow? Excessively. This unit has much room to grow. Are we going to get a unit that's going to even activate half of these links? But yeah, there's not much to that. Let's just go ahead and go look at his giant ape form real quick. So when you go into his giant ape form, he is actually very powerful. This is actually one of the key things about this Vegeta I like a lot. So he massively raises attack on 18, and then he greatly raises attack on 12. That's not the best part about him. The best part about his giant ape is that he's always performing a crit, and he's getting an extra boosted attack of 318%. He does a lot of damage in this form, and it's free crits. So because of this, it's actually best to build him with additional so that when you do go into the giant ape form, he can pop off additionals while he's in the giant ape form. This is like as close as we're probably going to get to a modern Orange Piccolo. I'm dead serious too. Like I'm actually kind of dead serious. This is about as close as we're going to get to a modern Piccolo, where we can pop the giant ape form and just kind of wail on the boss. The amount of damage this giant ape form of Vegeta can do is so absurd that you could probably just within the actual giant ape transformation, you could probably kill Go Frieza. The red zone Go Frieza, or not red zone, but blue zone memorial battles, supreme magnificent battles, whatever you want to call it. He does a lot of damage in this form. So I can't stress enough that additional would help that out immensely. And otherwise, the majority of the rest of the time, he's just an AoE slot 1 unit. So the contradictory part about this, on how this guy is now, is that he was once upon a time a sole World Tournament unit. He was useful for nothing else. Literally a waste of air. He was just there for World Tournament, and we had no other aspect to use him other than an LR boost for something. But now Now we have the option to actually use him in other content areas, and I do think he is usable, and I think he'll be good for quite a while, because if you look at it, he has guard, and he has 60% bloody damage reduction in slot 1. Now, as leader skills increase, we're going to get more boosts, we get more off-rotational supports, we get more options into the game. I do believe that this guy has the potential to be useful for a very good amount of time. Maybe not two to 3 years, but I do think at least for the year of 2025 into 2026, he will still be a good option for potential fights, just because of his slot 1 performance. So I do feel like that is something to keep in mind. His Giant Ape form is contradictory to giving him crit, which is probably what a majority of people have built him with. So yeah, but let's just, you know what, I digress. I'm going off topic here. Let's just kind of go and take a look at his defense numbers. So we got a couple different places that we can look for defense numbers here. Halver does have some defense numbers we can take a look at. We'll take a look here first. So in slot 1, it's hard to see it, but without support, post 18 key super, he can get to 1.6 million defense. In slot 2 or 3, he'll only have a start turn defense of 255. He can get up to 1.6. He can get an additional up to 1.8 million. And in slot 1, he'll have up to 300k defense. And on post super, he have almost 2 million defense. And after receiving an attack, his defense skyrockets up. And he goes up to the start turn defense of 490, which is dang near 500. It's basically 500 on a 220 lead. It's like almost 600 with support. I mean, there's so many other ways we can boost this. His defense is good. But yeah, post super after receiving an attack. And I really have to emphasize the difference here is that after receiving an attack, his defense does skyrocket quite a bit. We're talking like 300 to 500k differences. It could definitely be a make or break in your health bar. For sure, especially when calculating mixed damage reduction in guard. This could be a very big thing. Him receiving literally a normal can change how much damage he can tank easily. So just keep that in mind when you're using this Vegeta, is that he does want to take a normal. He does want that boost. The boost that we are speaking of, by the way, is the one I was emphasizing in the breakdown originally, which was the after guard is activated. That's what the defense is calculating right here, this 4-3 turns thing. So just keep that in mind. After he takes that one attack, he will have this nice after receiving boost for a total of 2 appearances. The appearance of him getting hit and then the next one after. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at his defense numbers. I think we can go ahead and go take a look at Luke's. Let's go ahead and take a look at Luke's. So as you can see, he calculated this on a Super Saiyan 3/4 Goku team, which is one of his better teams, I mind you, because he's a giant ape leader at 220. So his damage isn't like necessarily crazy, but you know, first super attack, 20 mil, nice. If he additionals, 13, 14, sure, that's some damage in there. But his defense is really nice up there. It's pretty nice after guard, 460, 2 mil defense, 2.5 mil defense. Now, mind you, he's not getting the damage reduction in slot 1 in this case scenario that he has put up for us. So just remember that this is a unit that excels more so in slot 1, as he'll have more defense, and he'll have 40% damage reduction. He only has 20% damage reduction and guard in slot 2. He has 60% damage reduction in slot 1. So 100%, it's best to just throw him into slot 1. But anyways, turn 5 with the guard buff, while having the Super Saiyan 4 Goku on rotation, you'll still see about the same level of damage. And that's because he switched him to slot 1, where he has less attack. So it kind of evens out, you could say. But as you can see, his start turn defense is much higher at the 585, almost 600k, as I was saying. And then 2.6 mil on super, and if he doubles, he's at 3 mil, which is very good. Very, very good. And then the grade A form is just busted. It doesn't seem like a lot, but because he's auto-critting and he's getting a 20 mil super every time, it does add up. It does add up. So that's going to be the defense and a little bit of the damage numbers, compliments of Halvard and Luke Lizard. Let's go ahead and move forward into the builds. But before we do get really pushed into the builds here, I do want to show something here on the left side of the screen. So right when my face is about to get covered, as you'll see here on the left side of the screen, we have anniversary equips for this unit. So the anniversary equips you will get from the Challenge 10th Anniversary Battle Stage. You'll specifically get these equipments on 7th Anniversary Part 2 stage. You will get a Bronze Level 9 Orb, which is 900 extra defense. You will get a Level 6 Silver Equip, which is a Level 6 Dodge and a Level 6 Defense Orb. The Level 6 Defense Orb is actually 1,200 defense points. And then you will get a Gold Equipment, which is a Level 6 Crit and Additional Orb. It is entirely up to you if you wish to use all of 3 of these orbs. I will say that Vegeta would be much better off using at least the Bronze and the Silver, but I do question the use, potentially, of the Gold. So, with that being said, let's just go ahead and go look at his actual builds right here at 55%, level 5. Unfortunately, as a TEQ unit, he does start out with crit, so that's all he's going to have minimum in his hidden potential system. He's just going to have the level 5. Otherwise, he's only going to have the anniversary equips. These anniversary equips add an excessive amount of extra good defense for him, and it does make him a lot more defensively viable, even as a 55% unit. Moving on to his dupes. So as far as his dupes go, I mean, try to go into additional as much as possible, in my personal opinion. Additional is probably the best way to go to take advantage of his giant ape form. The giant ape form is just getting auto crits and doing a lot of extra damage. I feel like the additional helps him do that. And potentially, the additionals will also help his survivability, especially if you're not throwing him into slot 1. So that is definitely another thing to take into consideration when using this unit. Otherwise, the rest of after the 15 minimum, not including the orbs, you should definitely either throw the rest into crit for his just potentially getting some normal crits going off before he transforms into a giant ape, and then put the rest into dodge if you don't want the crit. These are the orbs I did choose to use. This gold equip, I will tell you, this gold equip exists in the Extreme Super Battle Road. You can acquire these types of orbs where they will give defense and dodge as a gold equip. There's lots of gold equips to be acquired through Extreme Super Battle Road, so please do go grab those if you so want a better orb designed for this Vegeta, in my personal opinion. Hello, Ari. What you doing, girl? Okay. Are you hungry? She's hungry. I'll feed her once we're done with this video. We're almost done. We're almost done, foofies. We're almost done. Yeah, we're almost done. Say hello. She's not happy. She just wants food. She just wants food. She's gonna stay right here with me until I feed her. Anyways, off topic. So the next build is actually more centered towards specifically World Tournament. At the end of the day, I do feel like Vegeta is straight up still a World Tournament unit. No matter what, at the end of the day, he is a World Tournament unit. He's here for an AoE. I do want to take advantage of that AoE. So when I go into World Tournament, I'm still going to have some crit on him, because if attacks effective against all types is not enough in World Tournament, especially if World Tournament ever gets a revamp and we get a higher difficulty, you're going to need that crit. So really, you do have to pick and choose how you're going to want to rock this guy. But me personally, I might, especially if I get some extra copies of this guy, I might just make an extra copy for World Tournament specifically. And yeah. Now for the World Tournament kind of build, I do suggest going straight into crit and then put the rest into additional. As far as his equipment goes, go ahead and give him the level 9 anniversary orb. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think an attack orb would make a huge difference for him as far as World Tournament goes. And that's when I would also suggest these equipment. Also keep in mind, you know, as long as you're using EX equip orbs, you can just freely take these off. technically speaking, you can go ahead and remove all of these anniversary orbs right here, replace it with crit just for World Tournament. You really can do that. That is an option. You can just replace all of these with crit orbs for World Tournament to help you get through all the fights. That is definitely something you can do. Please keep that in mind. That's why I do put these EX skill orbs on here, because if you so need to choose to rearrange how a unit works a little bit, you know, EX skill orbs can be replaced and re-put back onto the unit. So just keep that in mind when considering how you build this unit. With all that being said about the builds, I'm going to move on to the role tips, and that's going to be the end of the video afterwards. So as far as the leader goes, his two best leaders 100% are actually going to be Super Saiyan 3/4 Goku, as he is a 220 giant ape leader. And then the next best leader is going to be the the AGL Exchange Vegeta Goku unit that transforms into Gogeta. That would be his next best technically partner and leader. And as far as leaders go, Lord Slug or Glorio is definitely his best. I would say his weakest team is 100% Lord Slug or any other ones. The double Glorio, Gogeta with his active skill, and then the absolutely overwhelming support of Super Saiyan 3/4 Goku are very good options as far as anything else goes. I did want to go ahead and try to show you guys one thing, as just because it's part of this. So technically speaking, Gogeta is a excellent partner for this guy, purely for his active skill. So if for anybody that didn't know, the active skill for Gogeta boosts all allies' attack and defense by 54%. And basically what that does is boost his defense a large amount. And that would be the excess of what I would say would make him a good partner. Other than that, it's just literally over in the Flash and Legendary Power, and that's all that they'll have together. So I didn't put him as a partner on here because not everyone's going to have him. And more than likely, this is literally just like 2 turns. This is it. You'll only have this guy for 2 turns. Otherwise, there's not too many decent leaders you'll be rocking with him. It's kind of unfortunate what they did to this Vegeta. Like, he just doesn't have much, you know? Actually, he doesn't even have over in the Flash. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was probably thinking of Kaioken Goku. Yeah, he doesn't even have any of the links other than Legendary Power with him. So, I mean, I didn't want to include him, but, you know, that's the only other thing you could do. I mean, the lack of links with Vegeta makes it kind of rough. But he's so good defensively on his own, he doesn't even need the links to go off. Maybe one day, we'll have the ability to have a good link partner with him, and he'll be able to do better. But until then, this is all we got. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching the video. Please let me know how you're going to build him. Are you going to build him more primarily additional? Or are you actually going to go for the crit route and just keep him as a World Tournament unit? Please do let me know in the comments. And what team are you going to use him on? Anyways, I'm tired. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night. Let's get you some food, Ari.